Hello all people who live within driving distance of New Church, Westville. Last night we had our first in a series of 5 workshops, and I wanted to tell you what the workshops are all about in case you have a chance to make it to one of them. The title of the workshops is Limitless, and to give you some idea of that concept, I'll show you this diagram over here. You can see the concept is that we live in a world where we've got limits. There's a limit to how much space we have, how much time we have to do the things we want to do in, and we also got these limitless things flowing in from the Lord. And the question is, how do we use the limits of time and space and whatnot to love the Lord? So, it might sound like a little bit of an abstract concept, but it's actually really practical. For example, the first topic we talked about was the limits of space. For instance, being in a room with a construction zone next door limits the sound quality in your background of videos you're recording. Anyway, in the sermon on Sunday, Derrick talked about some of the spiritual reality that underlies the experience that we have of space in the natural world, and he talked about scriptures from the Word that talk about the use of space. But in the workshop, we got down into very practical details. How do you bring the Lord into your entranceway of your house? How do you bring Him into your workspace? How do you bring Him into your car when you're driving along getting frustrated at other drivers? And what kind of difference can it make in your life to use the limits of the space you have around you to bring the Lord into it? Incidentally, if you missed the sermon or the workshop, you can find links below to sort of catch up on what you missed. The next topic we'll be talking about is time, and if you're like me, there's never enough time to do all the things you want to be doing. And we'll be talking about what does the Word say about time, and how can that help us to deal with the limitations of the time that we have. And then in the workshop, we'll be getting down into the very practical details. How, in the midst of all the other things you're trying to do you find time to spend with the Lord? One way is to get into a habit of reading the Word every day. But how do you do that? Where do you start? How long do you read for? What do you do if you find stuff that's confusing? We're going to be addressing all of those very practical, relevant questions. Speaking of time, I don't want to take any more of your time, and I frankly need the time to work on my sermon for Sunday. But I hope this has given you enough information about the workshops that we're going to be doing that if you have the time for them, you'll want to come to them. If you have any questions about them, feel free to send me an email or give me a call. Details are below. Otherwise, I hope to see you at the next workshop, which is Tuesday, May 17th at 7:30 at the Kynan School Media Center. Thanks.